I'm here with SVSU women's cross-country coach, Evie Kammeyer. Evie, first of all, congratulations to the women on getting the at-large bid to the NCAA National Championship. Start off, go back to the regional. What was the message you sent to the team heading into that regional competition?
Yeah, so leading into the regional meet, this is something we kind of grabbed onto at the GLIAC meet up in Hufton, how we need to just be women who are entirely unafraid of everything. So we can't be afraid of the competition, the environment, the fact that it's going to hurt really bad. We can't be afraid to fail. So those are things that we really, really emphasized going into conference. Worked great there, so I was like, let's keep rolling with that. I think early in the season we had a little bit of fear about what it meant to get out, what it meant to be aggressive, what it meant to be assertive. And it kind of bit us a little bit. So being able to kind of correct on those mistakes and move forward with a heck of a lot of confidence, that's really what we were focusing on for the regional meet.
And this is the fourth straight year that the women have qualified for the NCAA meet, which is with the program record, the longest streak, I guess we could say, since the streak is still active. How does your message change now that you're going into the national meet, if it changes at all?
Yeah, honestly, I think for us it doesn't really change a whole lot. I try to be really consistent in the way that I coach. I try to be consistent every day with these guys. I know how I respond to a lot of change. Sometimes it's pretty hard, so I think if we can keep that same messaging of being unafraid, being confident, being assertive, and trusting ourselves and each other, that's something that's really big. And I think that not only carries us through the national meet, but something that I try to emphasize to these guys a lot is, hey, what we're doing here, that matters well beyond running in college. That's the stuff that's going to take you through life and allow you to be really successful. So having that ability to go out and put yourself out there and be really terrified of what's coming at you, not let it show, I think that's really special and really important. So we're going to try to keep doing that same thing, and hopefully the chips fall where they may in a really great spot, and we're able to do some really special things in Joplin.
All right, I'm here with SVSU women's cross-country fourth-year member Alexa Keiser. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. First question I have for you is just, what was kind of your mentality and your strategy as an individual and as a team just heading into Midwest Regionals last week?
So as a team, we were trying to have a strong mentality because we knew it was going to be hard to qualify for the national meets, but we didn't want to count ourselves out because there's always a chance. So we wanted to have a strong mentality going into it, but we knew we had a job to do essentially, so we wanted to put forth the best that we can, and we just wanted to give ourselves a shot. But personally, I had a little bit of a struggle. I was sick the week leading up to regionals. I was not doing what I would normally do on a week before a big important meet, but you got to learn and you got to adapt. So I was sick, but I was running about like 4 miles average every day, and I just wanted to feel the best. So I was sleeping a lot and taking a lot of naps the week of and just trying to really just get myself ready to put forth that hard effort on Saturday. So I was just trying to make sure that I was doing all I could personally, but knowing that I'm still fit. I wasn't losing any fitness the week of because the hay's in the barn essentially, so I was already as fit as I was going to be. So I just wanted to make sure that I was having that strong mentality and not counting myself out even though I was sick.
And you mentioned the sickness. Did you do anything mentally to prepare yourself to run a race while you're sick? That has to change your preparation when you're versus being healthy.
Yeah, so a little mentality. I like to use mantras. I like to just repeat the same words over and over in my head, and I've been going with believe, belong, and brave, and so those are my 3 B's that I like to follow. So the first one, I like to believe in myself, so we like to get out hard, but like not count ourselves out, and then I want to belong in the race. I'm okay with going out strong because I belong there, and then brave is just finishing strong.
Okay, and then as you said, your preparation was different due to the sickness. So how does your preparation change now that you're healthy, you're back to being 100%, and now you're preparing for nationals? What is your preparation like now?
We're not letting up on the gas pedal. We have a job to do when we're there. We're trying to get the most All-Americans that we can as possible, and so we are just making ourselves feel good, doing workouts that make us feel good and strong, but also boost our confidence because we want to feel confident going into nationals.
Okay, and then I'll just mention this for some history's sake, but it's 4th year in a row that the women's team has qualified for the national meet, which is the longest streak in program history. Yes. It's also the second time in the history of the cross-country program overall that the men and women have qualified for the meet the same season. How does this year compare to last year as far as where the team's at? Do you feel it's different? Do you feel it's the same this year going into nationals versus last year?
Last year's was a little bit different because we had a festival year, so it's a little bit shorter of a season, but I'm feeling more fresh now than I was like 2 weeks later last year. So we're feeling strong going into this weekend or next weekend, and like we're ready, like essentially.
All right, I'm here with SVSU men's cross country coach Eric Phillips. Eric, congratulations on the team getting the automatic bid last week at the Midwest Regionals for the NCAA championship race.
Thank you very much.
Going back to the regional, what was the message you gave to your team heading into that race?
So all season we've really just been working on running together and being that pack team. That's been something that we've identified as going to be our strength this year. So since last December, that was kind of our first rodeo, qualifying last year in Seattle, and we were very much, it was a first rodeo. We had some stuff to work out. I think we took some things for granted with a young crew, but we returned 6 of those 7 guys that competed last championship season, and I think it shows. We've got a lot more maturity, and bringing that pack together and running together has been a focal point since day one, since that first workout back on September 1st, and we're just leaning into that very heavily. Yeah,
and as you mentioned, the men qualifying this year is the first time they've done it in back-to-back years since 2006, and in overall program, it's the second time ever in program history the men and women have qualified together. And you talked about that message in regionals, but how does that message change at all now that you're going into the national meet?
No, I would say the job is the job, right? We're here to make something of ourselves. We're here to show each other that we belong here and that we are one of those teams. So the messaging doesn't change. We're going to pack up. We're going to roll together. We're going to, go try to be that team that we know that we are.
Okay, I'm here with SVSU men's cross country senior Tommy Hufton. How are we doing, Tommy?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Start you off with a simple question. The men's team finished 3rd last week at the regional, got an automatic bid. So what was kind of your mindset and the team's mindset heading into that meet?
I think the team's mindset was that we had a job to do. We've known all season what we're capable of, and leading into regionals, we really just looked at it as a place to showcase what we're capable of. Individually, we all had our own individual goals, but I think the big piece there was everyone's individual goals really lined up with the team goal, and that was sticking together as a pack and trying to stick together as long as possible throughout the race to ensure that we can pull each other along instead of getting stranded by ourselves around people that we're not familiar with.
Okay, and then some of the preparation you talked about, sticking together as a pack, does any of that change heading into the national meet as far as preparation as the team and as yourself individually?
Not at all. Last year when we made nationals, we found it very tough when we got split up during the race, and it was a very good learning point for us, and we've been trying to practice that all season now, and I definitely think that we're in a much better position where we're able to repeat that at nationals this year.
And what was the message from your coaches to the team going into that regional meet?
Really just everything I just said, that we know what we're capable of, we know that we belong. I think a big piece of it is that we finally feel like we belong here after making it to nationals last year. We kind of feel like we want to redeem ourselves in some aspects, and we all are just definitely on the same page in terms of that. So it's really exciting to get to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned last year, first time since 2006 that the men's team has qualified in back-to-back years. Second time in program history that the men and women are qualifying together. How does this year going to nationals differ from maybe even last year?
Like I said before, it definitely feels a lot more like we belong this time, and I think every year after this, it's going to feel more and more like that, and hopefully that is a thing that sticks is every year after this. One of our goals that the guys have talked about personally is not just making it last year, not just making it this year, but ensuring that we're leaving the program in a better place that we found it so that the program continues to go year after year after year.
So sort of like a legacy, mentioning that legacy, this being your final chance at the national meet, kind of for you individually, what does that mean for you going out as a senior, being able to compete in this national meet, and then kind of, what is an individual goal you might have at the meet?
Individual goal-wise, I'd like to see myself top 40 All-American, but really, as long as I can, like I said, leave the program in a better spot than I found it, then that's the only thing I could really hope for. If I can give the younger guys a reason to keep on pushing for the program to be better, I just want to be a good leader for them so that they can continue to push what we preach and continue to do that year after year.
I appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you.